Welcome back to the First, the Last, the Nerdom, the podcast where we explore the first, the last, and everything in between across the worlds of film, television, and pop culture. And this week, we're returning to one of our favorite special series, Binge Worthy. If you're new to the concept, here's how it works. We pick a TV show that we're curious about, watch the first 3 episodes, and then decide whether it deserves a full binge or if it should be quietly filed away under maybe someday. We do the recon so you don't have to. This week, we're stepping into the shadows of the Cold War with The Americans, a critically acclaimed spy drama that asks itself a terrifying simple question. What if the family next door wasn't just hiding secrets, but was living an entirely different life? Set in the early 1980s, The Americans follows 2 deep cover Soviet spies, Soviet illegals, posing as seemingly perfect suburban couple, balancing marriage, parenthood, and espionage, all while living just down the street from the FBI agent who just might be getting a little too close for comfort. It's a show built on paranoia, quiet tension, moral ambiguity, and the kind of slow burn storytelling where every glance and every silence matters. It's very deliberate. We'll be talking about the performances, the atmosphere, the emotional stakes, and how the first 3 episodes set the tone for one of the most intense and rewarding dramas of the last decade. So keep your cover story straight. Watch who's listening, and don't trust anyone, especially your neighbors. This is Binge Worthy. Tonight, we're going to go deep undercover with The Americans on the First Last Nerdom. Hey, these get so much better. I swear to God, they get so much better over the time of doing this thing that we do together.
Yeah, I was trying to break you, but you did good.
Yeah. Yeah. Much better than other ones here. And I'm going to turn on the big screen here, and then we're going to pay the bills, and we're going to get into this beautiful thing for Binge Worthy.
Yeah,
Show.
I'd unleashed the gremlins. A nod to our first last podcast we just did.
Absolutely, yeah. That's our main show here, the First Last the Nerdom. This is our home base on the interwebs. Our website, FirstLastNerdom.com. You can check us out there. This is just like basically just a really simple website, like with our last 21 episodes, our last 20 publications from YouTube. You can see them there, and you can see really cool. Check out next week. We're going to have a very special, very special Christmas Eve or Christmas week edition. So check that out. Check that out next week. We'll be putting that out here pretty soon. But in any case, where we're at here, we're at the latest and greatest here. We're also home bases on YouTube, the First Last Nerdom, where you can find all of our videos. Thomas's shorts. He runs the shorts department there, and always, of course, when we go live, that's where you'll find us under that tab.
Yep.
But with that being said, Tom, do you have something to say about Reddit?
No, not really. I am on there under First Last Nerdom, and I promote our stuff where if the post doesn't get deleted, you might have come from there. If you did, welcome to the show. But yeah, I'm there as a presence, promoting our stuff wherever we can. I'm also on X under First Last Nerdom. That's where I won't get deleted for the most part. And I promote our stuff, and then I do promote show some nerdy stuff. Like I just recently acquired Pennywise the Clown, and did a little Christmas picture of him. But I think you're also on X as well.
I am. Yes, sir, I am. And occasionally you can find me and Tom conversing about the nerdom or just anything in between that we want to talk about. But with that being said, yeah, you can find me at Sophie King Jewish _ and with that being said, we are talking about The Americans here. And
Americans.
This was 2013. When it came out, it didn't really make too many waves. It did get acclaim later on, but it wasn't quite dialed in for its era. I mean, it was popular, but it never really shattered any numbers. But to FX's credit, they stuck with it, and it did became much better as it went on. So I don't know. This is kind of in line with the Slow Horses that we had covered earlier this year, in that it's a spy thriller, that this thing, and there also is it's also about a romance that is there too, that may or may not become something later on, but and they definitely do, but FX decided to keep going with it, and it's one of the rare this is well before streaming was the du jour. um, but because of the way that it is laid out, and I'll give a brief overview here. I'm fucking yapping about all this stuff. But basically, you have, it's 1981, it's Ronald Reagan, is, Cold War tensions, we got Elizabeth and Philip, who seem like your typical superiors felt of the KGB, except they're deep cover KGB agents from the Soviet Union, and they've got two kids who have no idea their parents are Russian agents, and they run a travel agency. And by the way, their neighbor he's an FBI counterintelligence agent named Stan Beeman. So anyway, I mention all that because it really sets the tone for this. Really, you're already in the pressure cooker on top of this, so it's just such a very unique way to tell a story from their point, from the spy, because we've had spy this, spy that forever. So it's very unique. What did you think? Because this is the one I picked. I've always wanted to go through this one, and I probably am after this. But what do you think, Tom?
Yeah, there's like a lot of creaking sounds and shuffling sounds. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's being picked up. but yeah, just want to point it out. But no, I had I was all in on FX back in the day, especially around the 2010s. So it was definitely on my radar. And yeah, I've seen all 6 seasons of it. I thoroughly enjoyed the show, and yeah, so yeah, rewatching the first 3 episodes was kind of a refresher for me. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like you were saying, it's a
There we
spy
go.
story.
Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no worries. But it's a lot of drama and emotion and kind of a family drama. It's sort of like the Cold War is sort of the backdrop for a Cold War among the in a marriage or in a family, sort of so to speak. But you also have the added layer of them being Soviet spies, but also being neighbors with with CIA agent next door. And the interesting thing, I was reading about the show, I didn't realize, but the creator of the show, Joseph Weisberg, he was a CIA agent, and then became a writer. So a lot of the stuff he's drawing from is from his time of being a CIA agent. He said the funny thing is that one of the questions to become a CIA agent kind of spurred on his writing career before, because when he was going into it, he wanted to be a spy, but then one of the questions was, are you just becoming a agent so that you could write about it later? And he thought, maybe that's something as well. So it's kind of interesting. So you haven't been through the show here?
What's that? Sorry.
You haven't watched the full series yet?
No, not all the way. No, no, no. This was one that I always wanted to get into, but I just never picked it up. I mean, I tried. I have seen a couple episodes here and there, but totally out of order and totally, like whatever, like or I got sucked into a YouTube clip thing and I like, oh, what was that, and then But anyway, this is one that I've wanted to cover for a long, long time, or just
Okay.
personally watch. So
Yeah.
use the excuse of the binge worthy. It is what I made some notes. I was going to say it is like, speaking of drinks, that's
Yeah.
perfect, Tom. That's perfect.
7-Up.
The way I would put it is it is like sipping whiskey. You're not drinking Red Bull. You're sipping. You're sipping. It's very deliberate. It's cat and mouse. It is it the fact that it came out when it did is also kind of funny, but now and it was true back then also, they found that the streaming, when this would go out to be streaming on the people that would watch it on the DVRs, all those after the fact people, they had the same amount of people, which is about 1 million. They would pull in about 1 million folks, that, and then also the same thing for people watching it after the fact. And it grew a little bit, but not, it wasn't like, 13 million, it wasn't just like huge, but the fact that it is a perfectly made streaming show. I mean, just because of the way that the nature is now, if you have to have a, action packed, kind of dynamite kind of thing, every square inch of new thing, or a plot twist every episode, this is not that. It's very slow and deliberate. But you, I assume, enjoy this one as well.
Yeah. There is quite a bit of action in it as well, but it's
Sure.
it's just it's not gratuitous as you would say. But no, yeah, it's a slow burn. Yeah, it's a much more the dynamic and relationship between the two. You have um, the happily married couple on the surface, all American family of Philip and Elizabeth. Elizabeth, but when you kind of crack underneath the layer of it, you find out they're KGB agents, and I think Elizabeth kind of immediately kind of comes off as sort of like the militant one that's true to the Soviet Union, die
Comrade.
hard. Yeah, whereas Philip, you can see that Philip's kind of lived in America so long that there's some cracks there
He
that's kind of
acclimated.
wedging in. Yeah.
Well, no, that's true. That's true. And well, not necessarily. I mean, you can kind of see like where he's not quite full, I mean, this is a job for him. I mean, and it is his life, but you can, they really start off real quick with the whole thing. And I don't know about you, but like the pilot was, a very good. But I was going to say the one that episode 1, 2, and 3 were really good, but I found, for me, and I'm sure this is true, when I go to continue to watch this, that every episode gets a little bit better. But because I for sure, like 3, Gregory was like, that was the great, like that's when you get really start to click in with who these people are and what's going on, and kind of getting the fundamentals of this with already baked in, like, it's not this is not a walk in the park for these people. Like, because
Yeah.
there is like natural tension. And I think in episode 2, they think they find out that another agents that they know, or, that are like, just like them, a couple are, you know, not, there anymore.
Yeah.
But it just creates tension, for the cat and mouse. It's just a great cat and mouse, show.
Yeah, and I knew I'd wrote about the show on Facebook. I can't remember what. So I kind of dug around in Facebook and did a search of
Yeah.
the comments I made.
Perfect.
I always build it up in my mind of what I said before in when I finally looked it up. It was kind of consequential. A lot of times I'll think of a really cool post to post, and I'll make it out in my mind and then never post it, so that might have happened with this show. But yeah, the couple of comments I made during the first season, I think I posted one of the episodes, they play a Cure song, and I was kind of geeking out over that. But
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I posted on the first episode of the second season, and then also on the finale, the first episode of the second season said, I said that the first season was good, but this season is where things pay off. I got that sense that it's going to start paying off. So, and then the finale of the second season, I said, uh, sounds like something's going on there. Um,
Sorry, my cat's making noises. I gotta.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, sweetheart, are you okay? Killing me here. What are you
But
doing? Oh, making this strange noises. Sorry.
oh yeah, no worries. Just kind of
All right. Yeah. Anyway, you were saying, I apologize. I'm sorry about that.
no worries. Yeah, yeah. We'll make sure Kitty's okay. But yeah, no, the second season finale, I said something like, "Wow, I didn't see that one coming." So be prepared for the that season finale. But no,
I I just
yeah, I was definitely engaged in the show.
Yeah, it is it's really it's a good I'm glad that I waited. And there's also another one that we kind of talked offline about, like the For All Mankind, I believe it is. So like that's something that I just we'll cover that. What actually I was going to go back to Joseph, to the main guy here, because I saw that he did another one that at some point I do want to do for Binge Worthy. At some point I would like to do Falling Skies, because that is a very interesting show. But anyway, I'm not familiar with The Patient, so but we threw it there in the links down there in the show notes in case you want to go check it out. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's a great show, but it's just really cool that this I was going to go down.
Yeah, and
They
it's interesting you point out that yeah, it's similar to Slow Horses because I noticed in the credits that Graham Yost was also executive producer on the show, and he's also a producer on Slow Horses. He also did. He was also a producer on. I think he's showrunner on Justified. So he has an eye for great shows. Yoist
Justified
is
is also a
yeah,
tremendously great show as well.
yeah, FX show. Yeah, Graham Yoist. He was the one that found Joseph Weisberg and clued him in on getting the show going. So yeah, he's obviously a good eye for talent. Speaking of talent, the actors are great. Keri Russell, I think that
Oh
she might have
God,
been
yeah,
one of the things that pulled me into the show. I was like, oh, Keri Russell's in this. I need to check that out. She's easy on the eyes, and then she's also a great actress as well. And then
absolutely
I was new to Matthew Rhys, but he really won me over in the show. He's a great actor, and the
tremendous.
yeah, and then the agent next door, Stan Beeman character. He's uh, done quite well as well, played by Noah Emmerich, the FBI counterintelligence agent. He's got Russian spies right next door, and he can't figure it out. But you know,
Well, I mean,
yeah, yeah.
there are some trade-offs here with the tension. I did also hear in my research for this, I thought this was adorable. And this makes me just want to watch it even more. I heard that the actors, that Matthew and Keri, while they were filming this, at some point they did become in a real relationship, in the real world. Is that
Hmm.
true? Or that you, as far as you know?
No idea.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, if it's it sounds good anyway. So if it's true, like, well, I guess I'll find out here in a little bit. But nevertheless, doesn't matter. There is good chemistry for these people and their acting. And Matthew does a great job, and
Yeah.
it just draws you.
So
It's just such quality. I mean,
yeah, they're believable as parents, and then yeah, you have the dichotomy of you got a cool spy story going on here, but then you also switch gears, and it's also a family drama with their two kids, and with played by the two young kids that are in there. One's a teenager and the one's on the cusp of being a teenager, and all of the drama that comes along with a family drama that's played. It it could be played in a way that's more TV-ish, whereas this is played more towards reality and kind of drama. Real things kind of happen. With this kind of show, it kind of could teeter on the outlandish or kind of over the top of you know of these situations being kind of real, but then tipping over into fantasy or the action tropes. Whereas this show kind of leans heavily into more of a real life, even though you know day to day you're not a spy, but you can kind of relate to them because they're also human and are kind of going through human and everyday things with with
Yeah,
with their
mundane,
kids. Yeah,
right?
the mundane.
But well, I mean,
The daughter getting her first bra, and, and
right, right.
yeah, just kind of spending time with the son, and things progress through the show. So I won't get too much into spoilers, but yeah, they become more prominent during in the later seasons. It makes it more complex, obviously.
But yeah, well, and there's also the tension between them two anyway. Of like they're when they do start to ease into being partners.
Mhm.
There's certain things you have to kind of do to be married, quote married. Especially if you're deep cover like presumably, right? So this is the fictional world that we're presented, but they're it's almost funny like they're just stuck in spy mode, and then kind of like the kids scenes are a little bit more natural, but the interplay when it's just them is interesting. It has very, very good tension on top of the tension anyway already, but with them and that it's kind of funny. I noticed that watching these first three. It was a great show. It's really good.
Yeah, and on the FBI side, you also have Richard Thomas, who famously played John Boy on the Waltons. He's the supervisor of Stan
It's
Beeman.
so
Yeah, and,
funny.
and he does a good job of
It was familiar,
the
yeah.
supervisor. Yeah, yeah.
Good
You
God,
see
that
him, and
makes
you go,
so
I
much
know that
sense.
guy.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Well, that works in its favor anyway. It's
Right,
also
and
Lee is also on it. That's fun.
yeah, yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's yeah, I like the fact that, obviously, if this was made during the 80s, the Russians would have been obviously the villains, and the FBI agents would be the heroes. But they kind of do it in more of a gray area of doing things. It's like they're taking a human side to it. They're kind of looking at, not looking at it as sides, but as humans doing things in a
It's
very
like at the
human
very end.
way. Yeah.
That's bullshit. Show the very end.
Right, yeah. No
Anyway.
spoilers, man, but yeah, no. But yeah, so I also, I was reading where the showrunner, Weisberg, was saying that they consciously put it during the 80s because, you know, um, there was kind of, at the time of, the show coming out, there was some, like, spy stuff coming out about Soviet spies maybe being in America, but it would be more believable if they said it during the 80s. Plus, they didn't have to deal with, if they said it in modern day. He said they would have to deal with the bullshit of, oh, I see what you're doing there. You're making a
Technology.
yeah, no, 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 but no, I see what you're doing there. You're making a slide against Trump here, and they didn't want to get
Oh, wow.
into
Yeah, that's
get into like modern politics. They wanted
right.
to completely remove themselves from that, so that they could just tell a story, where you weren't going to be, tromping on somebody's hurt feelings, one way or the other. They wanted to tell a more pure story, as opposed to trying to be topical.
Right. Well, they did a very good job, and you're also just in the first hour that you're watching the film, the TV show, you get the entire core premise. You understand who these people are, what their stakes are. Why. You get
Hmm.
the FBI neighbor. You get and then more importantly, like you were saying, you were touching on, like we're in a morally gray world where we're kind of rooting for the bad guys. Like it's just funny that how very human they come through. I'm not saying they're like lovable teddy bears right
Yeah.
off the bat, but there is a certain level of familiarity where they are playing essentially role playing, Americans. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're not candy coating anything. These are killers. There's like a moral ambiguity. They're playing with people's lives, and if someone dies for their cause, in them doing their cause, it's no biggie to them. But also, they you switch over to family life, and they're concerned with what's going on with their kids and what's happening in their kids' life. So you have that human aspect, but then that they're also killers. So it kind of ties in with like a show like Sopranos, where the moral ambiguities there, and
That's
also
true. Yeah.
obviously Breaking Bad. There's that as well. But yeah, it's the anti-hero. It makes for it's rich in drama, and you could play around with a lot of different themes, and really get into some juicy stuff, which they do to a lot of degrees. But yeah, I remember that there were some seasons that I liked better than others. I know that it does. I can't remember how it completely ends, but I know I was kind of satisfied with the ending, and that the
That's
later
what I've heard
seasons.
anyway.
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
I haven't delved too much into the,
yeah,
and to
yeah,
that end of the pool, but I
yeah,
will say this is like many things, and this is like one of Mike's prerequisites for being on my good list or top tier list would be it's a show that trusts the audience. It trusts me. Like I don't have to, nothing's
yeah,
over explained, no
yeah.
exposition out the ass, no, none of that horse shit, none of like, no, everything is, it's measured out and it's very good tonally. And anyway, it works. So
Yeah, I think it builds to a point, and then there's kind of a dip, and then it really finishes off strong. So, but it never goes below, and it never goes to like really bad quality. It's just like I said, there's sort of a you know the enjoyment factor. There is kind of a lull in like the mid seasons, but yeah, like I said, it pulls out and is. And also in the later seasons, you have Julia Garner, who's was big in Ozark. I think this was one of her first roles, and just recently she is the new Silver Surfer. So,
oh,
um,
very cool, very cool. I was gonna say too, this the other thing that kind of helped this, I guess, maybe, or I guess maybe could have hurt it too. You could say that too, but obviously it helped it. I mean, there's a timeline here. They're in 81, presumably. That's the year, right? So there's also an end date here too of like historically, this thing is time boxed in a certain kind of way, no matter what. So the way that they could that I have heard it's been very satisfying across the arc of it, like the thing. So I'm really looking forward to. In case you haven't noticed yet, this is a very strong yes exclamation mark for binge worthy. If you haven't caught the drift of Tom and I praising it, or just talking about the gravity that it brings, and I'm looking forward to diving in more.
yeah, and
Um,
I will say that yeah, I'm not afraid of stopping a series, even if I'm like 4 seasons in, and
but yeah,
it
me too. Yeah,
starts to piss me off.
suck.
I have no problem with like going nope and getting out. And
Peace
I made
out.
it through. Yeah,
Peace out, bro.
I've made it through all 6 seasons of this. So yeah, so that's a mark of quality. It also won. I think it's won a couple of Peabody, which Breaking Bad did as well. So that's I don't know if you judge that as a sign of quality, but there you have that.
Yeah, me personally, not necessarily, but yeah, I mean, it definitely is one that I pay attention to, though. Like if not every show is made for everyone, but with that in mind, you're going to be better quality go off that list than not, for the most part. That's very true. Yeah, this doesn't take. I mean, for a slow burn, it doesn't take very long to get going, and but once you're introduced to there, then it kind of just that's when it really starts cranking down on you with the lies and the this and the the you can see where some things are going, but I'm sure it will take a very exceptionally long time, and I have no doubt they will fucking bait you and play with you a little bit. How could they not with something like this? To like where I'm sure there is some very interesting revelations in store for me anyway. But yeah, would you say that you are a markdown for a yes on the binge worthy?
But like I said, I made it through the whole thing, so I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
I am.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I can see where this would be even better rewatching it too, especially if you're familiar with it. But This is up there. I think we covered everything. Do you have any extra things to add? I'm going through my notes here. I don't see anything. I think we covered everything I
No,
wanted to.
no, it's quality show. Like I said, it's not it's kind of a slow burn. It's not like like you said, it's not action packed every minute. But if you like your dramas with a lot of drama, then it's
Great.
a good thing. Yeah, and it's a lot of great acting. A lot of people that started or made their presence known in this show have gone on to, like I said, bigger things. Yeah, and I was thinking about it. I was looking, when you mentioned the show, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of a newer show, and then I look back, no, it started in 2013.
Right, right,
It's
right.
over a decade old. And my has time flown by,
Holy
but
shit. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
yeah.
It is weapons grade. It gives you weapons grade tension for sure. In spades for sure. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it there. But this has been the binge worthy, and I've been Mike.
Yeah, and if you are big into the Americans and you're watching us for the first time, let us know what your favorite season of it is, and what you think about it. No spoilers because ML hasn't watched it all, but but yeah, but be vague. But yeah, let us
Be
know what you
gentle.
think. Yeah. And
Yeah.
let us know what other TV shows we should binge as well. But yeah, I'm Tom, and we are the first, the last Nerdom. Check us out.
Welcome back to the. Oh shit.